We're finally getting some brand new difficulty options in Ghost of Tsushima thanks to a brand new update that should go live today. Of course, this is update 1.05 that has been announced a couple of hours ago, so there's a ton of stuff to discuss. I also am looking forward to a new Game Plus mode as well, hopefully sometimes really soon. So let's discuss all of that in this video, and as always, a thumbs up on it would be super appreciated. But let's get started with the announcement over here on Twitter. Sucker Punch came in earlier today and they've announced this. So patch 1.05 for Ghost of Tsushima will be released, adding a brand new lethal difficulty level, a new option for a lower intensity combat, and some new text settings. And of course, we also have the patch changes over here, including the ones for the lethal difficulty. So this is going to be the 4th level of difficulty that's going to add the following changes. So enemies are going to have weapons that are more deadly, but Jin's katana is also going to be more deadly. So I think this kind of balances things out a little bit so that they don't feel like bullet sponges or too powerful and you instead feel too weak. But they also made enemies to be more aggressive in combat, to detect you much faster, and also have tighter parry and dodge windows. But then again, we also needed a change in difficulty as well, since things kind of become a little bit too easy once you get fully upgraded and have all of the weapons, armor sets, and like the gear all set up. So I think this was all welcomed. But they've also added a lower intensity combat. So lower intensity mode is meant to maintain the heart and feel of Ghost of Tsushima combat while relaxing several timing specific elements. Combat is less intense, giving you more time to react, stealth settings are more forgiving, and enemies take longer to detect. So for that, they made it so that most enemy attacks, which are normally unblockable like the red ones, now become fully blockable when a lower intensity mode is enabled. Blocking with L1 will keep you safe from attacks than standard combat, though some attacks must still be dodged, like I imagine the ones from the big brutes or for some enemy bosses. I imagine that those are the situations like these. Enemies also break off their attack combos after damaging you, giving you a chance to recover before the next wave of attacks. In addition, your heavy attacks will interrupt attacks from brutes, giving you another way to stop their combos. Furthermore, enemies will not attack you while you're using resolve to heal, and finally, enemy awareness builds more slowly, giving you more time to recover after being spotted. But I guess it makes sense for why they also added a lower intensity combat mode. It's probably there's a lot of people out there that just enjoy the overall story in Ghost of Tsushima, which is really good to begin with. There's a ton of side content in there that is very entertaining, as well as the main story. And maybe if you just want to like take an adventure and just take in the scenery in Ghost of Tsushima, probably that's going to be the best for you, since it's not likely going to pose any threats. But I'm still glad that Sucker Punch has added these combat difficulty options. It was definitely needed, because even in like the hardest setting, the enemies might sometimes not be like the most difficult and whatnot. And I'm glad that they are still supporting the game with post-content updates. Which also brings me to the next point. When are we getting a new Game Plus, or at the very least a way to reset enemy camps and bosses, as I'm sure many of you are also wondering the same and are definitely expecting that too. And I would love to see a new Game Plus option, since some of the very powerful item sets and gear is something that you only get towards the end part of the game, and by that time there's not much for you to test out. Most of the bosses are probably downed as it is, and you probably don't have any enemy camps anymore to test things out. If you've been a fan of my channel for a while now, you probably already saw that there's a number of builds that I've posted here, and I'm about to post even more. So I really hope that's going to be the case, because I really want to test these out without having to roll back my save files and having to resort to all these kinds of tricks to kind of test my builds out. But otherwise, this is it with the changes. We have some text changes in there as well. I'm going to go over these really quickly. So they made it so that there's a large text option for subtitles, for mission objectives, and other interact prompts that you can increase by 150% when enabled. They've also added an option to turn speaker name off when subtitles are enabled, so that you don't have to see the name next to the dialogue that that character might say. And finally, new subtitle text color options in addition to white, so you're going to also have yellow, blue, red, and green. But yeah, really awesome stuff. Looking forward to even more than this. Let me know down below what's your #1 feature that you're really eager to see in a future content update. Hopefully that's going to drop sometime soon. In the meantime, as always, if you enjoyed this video, also don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and peace.